लेंगे शाह महमूद कुरैशी और यूरोपीय यूनियन के नुमाइंदे इस वक्त मुश्तरका प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस कर रहे हैं।
Have finally agreed on a new strategic engagement plan, and that's a real plus from the discussions we've had. Hopefully, once the procedures are fulfilled on the European side, I would be more than happy to hop onto the plane and go to Brussels and sign with you, ma'am, the new Pakistan-EU strategic engagement plan. This, I think, is laying the architecture for a future, a bright future between Pakistan and the European Union. There are lots of Pakistanis spread all over Europe, contributing to socio-economic development of your member states. Very useful Pakistanis, contributing a lot to us through their remittances. So we have a bridge between us that is generating goodwill, and we can build on that further. We also, in our discussions, I shared with the High Representative Pakistan's point of view and the steps that we have taken vis-a-vis FATF, how we intend to fulfill our obligations and political commitments to the international community. I also shared with her the evolution of the National Action Plan and how the Peshawar tragic incident or the watershed in the way people in Pakistan dealt with terrorism and extremism, and what the Pakistan Armed Forces have done in cleansing the tribal belt, and the new political consensus that has evolved. We also had a good discussion on the status of INGOs, the perception and the reality, and I shared with the High Representative what initiatives we had taken, and some of the anxieties, I hope, after the discussion we've had would settle down, and they would feel more comfortable in working in Pakistan. I also shared with her how German political foundations, through negotiations and talks, have now been incorporated and have been registered, and how 75 of INGOs are already registered and are working in Pakistan, and we are working on others as well. And lastly, we had a very good discussion, and we shared and compared notes on Afghanistan. As you know, the European Union has been a great contributor to Afghanistan's reform and reconstruction agenda. They also, like us, have a stake in peace and stability in Afghanistan. So we shared Pakistan's perspective, Pakistan's role of facilitation in the peace and reconciliation process, and where we stand on that at the time. I also gave her an overview of our government's thinking vis-a-vis our eastern neighbor, that's India. How open we were, how open we are in engaging with them to resolve our outstanding issues through a sustained dialogue, because that's the only sensible way forward, as we have consistently held this view that there is no military solution to Afghanistan, and the only way forward is a negotiated political settlement. We are both convinced there is no solution to India and Pakistan but to talk and resolve issues through negotiations. Can two atomic neighbors even think of going to war? It's madness. And Pakistan has demonstrated restraint, a measured response, and immediately after being aggressed upon, the steps we took to de-escalate. The world is not oblivious of the steps we have taken, the release of the captured pilot, immediate release of the captured pilot, the unilateral decision to send our High Commissioner back to Delhi, and the decision to re-establish the hotline between the military directorates. These are all steps towards de-escalation. I also shared with her the desire of this government to open up on liberalization of visas, how we want to open up this country to foreigners, invite them to Pakistan, and the Qatar corridor. The impact that initiative is going to have on building confidence between two neighbors was also discussed. We also discussed Iran, and as you know, the Europeans and the European Union have a somewhat different perspective from the US on Iran. So we discussed the Iranian situation and how important Iran is for Pakistan, being our neighbor, and how important it is to achieve peace and stability in Afghanistan. So, ma'am, thank you for coming. I wish you could spend more time, but I hope there'll be more opportunities of interacting with you. Thank you.
For sure. Thank you very much for